Hello, we're going to do an overview of the brand new Exact-Rate fertilizer system for the 2020 1775-1795 corn planters. We're just going to do a component overview first. So this is the nozzle body. There's going to be one of these nozzle bodies on for every 2 rows. Each nozzle body feeds 2 rows. There's a solenoid on each side, so there is individual row control, but one nozzle body for 2 rows. Next, this planter is set up with single disc fertilizer openers. The Exact-Rate system is available in single disc off the row fertilizer opener system or in furrow, either one, not both. Or you can't run both at the same time anyway. And this would come with a higher rate flow system, or there's a lower rate flow system for the in-furrow. You have your controller here that plugs into the main wiring harness right up here. That controls your pump and takes input from the rest of the planter to figure out how fast the nozzle bodies need to run. And then this is your pump, hydraulically driven off the tractor. The planter hydraulics ties right in. You have an remote control, onboard control here where you can turn the pump on and off and control the flow. Here's your filter for your liquid fertilizer, your on-off valve, your flow meter, and your pressure sensor. That's about it. All right, we're gonna do an overview of the nozzle body assembly here for your information. So this is a pressure sensor that would be detecting the pressure of the liquid going out to this row right here. And then there's a pressure sensor on the back side that's gonna be going to this row right here. And that is what is your blockage detection, or your difference detection of pressure sensor, of pressure. And when that changes, then it's going to alert you in the cab that there's something going on with that row. But this is, in all essence, this is your blockage detection. Think of it that way. These 2 pieces right here are both your solenoids. That's how we can get individual row control with just one nozzle body. Each solenoid pulses to the speed that it needs to get the rate that it is desired for that row. So with the curve compensation or with changing speed, it's going to pulse the solenoid to change the flow. So when this is not pulsing, you have full flow from the pump, whatever the control valve is set at. But when you need to slow the flow down, it will pulse this solenoid to slow the flow. So the faster it pulses, the more flow that it's gonna, or the slower the flow is gonna be, and the slower it pulses, the faster, the more flow you're gonna have. I'll pop this pin off right here, and you can take the solenoid right off. So again, one per side. The electrical connection goes right in with it when you slide it on and pin it on. And then inside here is your flow restrictor, or orifice for lack of a better term. And this is going to be, you would need to change this if you were going to switch this planter over to an in-furrow system. This is the higher flow orifice for the 2x2 openers. And again, if you were going to switch it to an in-furrow system, which you could, you would just need to buy these orifices, the low rate orifices, and put those in there, and then put your solenoid back on. And there is an LED light on each nozzle body that will help with flow detection, whether you're getting power there or not. You can use it similar to the Exact-Apply nozzle bodies on a sprayer for diagnostics. The light is right here on the bottom. That's it. All right, we're gonna talk about the in-cab display functions of the Exact-Rate, so you can walk through the different menus and know what you're looking at here. We just have this set up on our homepage. This homepage we have set up with some of the Exact-Rate functions. The target rates are in this section right here. If you select that, you can select a different rate or change your rates. This is kind of a status window here Shows you the tank volume. You fill up your tank again. You can do presets or full tank refill. Shows you section status, gallons per acre, gallons per minute, your flow meter reading, and then the system pressure from the pressure sensor in the back on the manifold. This will turn your pump on, and it'll show you whether you're applying fertilizer or not. Alright, so if you hit the main menu button here, there's going to be 3 icons in here associated with the ExactRate. This ExactRate button here, this liquid system here, and the rinse system here, and tank system here. I'm sorry, there's 4 of them. So let's go up to the liquid system. This is again where you can go in and select your rate, or you can change it. Again, you can apply that to the home screen. This pressure relief is very important here. This is how you relieve the boom pressure. So if you need to take it apart, take a component apart and work on it, if you're having an issue, you're going to want to hit this pressure relief button, I'm sorry, to relieve boom pressure, so you don't have liquid fertilizer spraying all over you when you take your nozzle apart. Sorry, one more thing in there. If you hit the setup button, this is going to allow you to set up the liquid response, liquid system response rate. So we're going to start out in the middle. You can go higher or lower. It's going to have that ExactRate system respond faster or slower to change in speed, change in rate, or curve compensation. That is the liquid system button. Alright, so the next button we're going to talk about is the ExactRate. You select that. It's going to show you working width of the planter and your section status. You can enable all or disable all. This custom feature, we're not going to mess with that. It's talking about configuring sections, and it's already configured from the factory for individual row, so there's nothing we need to do there. We do need to fill out the specific gravity, though. We need to enter that information in there. We need to look up either online or from your fertilizer supplier to ask them what the specific gravity is of the product you're applying, so we know we're getting the rate we want. The orifice size here, this signifies that we do have the frame mounted fertilizer openers, so it's the larger orifices. Valve pulsing mode, we're going to want that in auto all the time. The fixed mode is going to be like a limp home, where your only rate change is going to be off the hydraulically driven pump. And then it shows us when we're in here, the status of the system is okay and we're good to go. If you hit the setup button on the top there, again, it talks about section configuration. We're not going to mess with that. Turn compensation is defaulted on. We can have the valve light in manual mode as well, and then we can select the brightness. And then flow detection, we're going to want to make sure that's enabled, and we're going to turn the sensitivity on low to start with. And this is what's going to tell us if there's something going on with an individual row that we're not getting the flow that we want, because it compares it to the other rows on the planter. And that is the ExactRate button. Alright, so the last 2 buttons in here that we're going to look at are down a scroll. One is the rinse system here. So this is how you're going to rinse out the pump and the nozzle bodies down to the openers or to the in-furrow application device you have on your planter. But you're going to want to do this anytime that's going to be sitting for more than a few days with fertilizer in there to get it out away from mainly from the nozzle bodies and the solenoids. That's going to cause issues down the road. So you can either put clean water in the fertilizer tank if you have an empty tank when you stop, or if the tank is full of fertilizer and you don't want to take that off, you need to hook up clean water to the inlet of the pump and then come back in the cab here and activate this rinse system. You need to have the PTO on for the tractor power generator. Then enable the EPG on your planter screen, but then all you need to do is go down here and hit the pump on and then rinse the system, and it'll automatically walk through rinsing, and when it's done, you're all set to go. You got everything rinsed out. So that's the rinse system. The last one is tank system, and again, it just takes you back to where you would fill up the tank volume, and you can adjust your presets for what the capacity of the tank is. Those are the 4 buttons. Okay, there's some built-in diagnostic functions for the Xactrate, and we're going to show you those. So go to the main menu button, System, Diagnostic Center. And there's two sections of diagnostics you can go into: flow detection and solution system. So we're going to look at flow detection. It's going to tell you they're going to be illuminated green if your two liquid flow controllers are online and functioning. Shows you sensor readings. You can go row by row. This is going to be that pressure sensor that's on the line down to the row. It's going to show you the supply voltage and the signal voltage back from the sensor, as well as what it's currently reading for pressure. So you can check row by row to identify some problems there. Sensor control, this is to enable the pressure sensors if you want them all on. But if one was wrong, you didn't want it throwing an alarm at you all the time, you could just disable that row to finish off that field until you got the parts. The other one is the Xactrate solution system, and this is going to show you switch readings. So it's going to talk about whether EPG, so we got power generator on, and then you can look at the rest of it there, planner functions. And then this is your sensor readings. You can look at your gallons per minute, the flow meter frequency, ground speed, so you can use this to diagnose any issues that you're having with the Xactrate system. The yaw rate down here at the bottom, that is going to be for your curve compensation, and that pulls that information off the RUCs, the row unit controllers.
It's called flow detection. So in this case, it's going to detect the blockage. You see if my outside two rows get blocked.
Yep.
I get my alert here. If that stays red, that's when you get that in-cab alert.
What's the pressure differential that's looking at?
You can run prescriptions, you can run through Agrian, or you can do your free presets in the cab. And that's really what this is simulating, is not needing to go back and make those pump changes. You just do it on the go.
There is an orifice in there. It's just a little biscuit on the end of the pump.
Right, yep, right on the top. Yep.
What's in the top?
Yep.
Right here?
Yeah, on the, and it's just to do the flow out of the wet phase. Yep.
That's what I'm telling you.
Change
When
it.
is the exact rate going to be introduced or available?
June of 2020, it'll be orderable. So you can actually order it this June for delivery of next year. So we've got some demo units floating around this upcoming season, and then next year it'll be full production. What's up? Say ahead. Yeah, we're getting ready to. I let them run and take a break real quick, and then we'll swap out for the last round. Yeah, I think me and Jeffrey are going to teach the planner course. We'll cover that breakout session for this actually week, and then Jeffrey has a class just on 5.
So it'll be your class is the
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Talking about doing cover that, but it's kind of hard to we can play it by ear. Yeah, I think it might be all classroom odds, but then it's definitely right. Yeah, just to get around the system rather than yeah, even if we just give them a walk around for 10, 15 minutes. I'm gonna take this into the classroom.